Hey there, book lovers. Welcome back to 5 Minute Book Reviews, episode 7. Today, I'm going to do a quick review of the last book that I finished, which is this Lee Child's Jack Reacher novel, Make Me, published in 2015 by Delacorte Press, about 402 pages. The unfortunate thing that I have to confess is that before I ever read my first Jack Reacher novel, I watched a Jack Reacher film. I'm not sure why I did it. It looked like a good movie, frankly. I'm a sucker for a good Tom Cruise action film. So I did it. I always thought it was a pretty okay film until I read my first Jack Reacher novel. And I realized that there was simply no way on earth that Tom Cruise is pulling off Jack Reacher as a character. And the thing about this film in retrospect, the best thing about this film that I can think of in retrospect is that they filmed at least part of it in Pittsburgh, which is kind of like my home away from home. And there's this one particular chase scene in the movie where they're driving through the city. I think Tom Cruise is actually driving or something or in a car. He's not actually running this time, but they're going through these back roads, these back alleys, and when you watch it, they do a quick flyby of one of my favorite places in the world to eat, which is a place called Wiener World. It's quick, but it's there. Watch it, you'll see it. Love those hot dogs. But Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher simply isn't happening. Then they made a second film with Tom Cruise after I'd read 4 or 5 Jack Reacher books, and I just still didn't understand what was going on. Perhaps even less so. And I'm just like, why am I watching this? Why am I doing this again? And I'm not saying it was a terrible film, although I'm sure that there's some people who will disagree. I'm just saying Cruise, for all his skills as an actor, is not Jack Reacher. So I also got to think about one of my first reviews of a Jack Reacher book that I wrote. And in the review, I said something like, uh, this Jack Reacher book is generally like all of the Jack Reacher books. And I said it not because I had read a bunch of Jack Reacher novels at the time, maybe 2 at the time that I wrote it, something, I don't recall the exact timeline, but I said it because a friend of mine at the time who had read far more Jack Reacher novels than I had was in a conversation. We were in a conversation together, and he said to me offhandedly that all Jack Reacher film books kind of follow the same general pattern. Well, I didn't really understand what he meant at the time. I just thought that my friend kind of knew what he was talking about, and so I wrote that in the book review. And he ended up calling me out on it, and it was kind of funny for a minute, and here we are. But now I understand what he meant. Said, all Jack Reacher books generally do follow the same pattern. Jack Reacher rolls up into a strange town. He meets someone, usually a woman, has a problem. Somehow he becomes reluctantly involved. He's not always reluctant, but sometimes goes on goes about unraveling a mystery, exposing some really, really terrible people. He kills some really, really terrible people, has sex with a really, really beautiful woman, rescues a puppy, steals some money from really, really bad people, like maybe drug dealers or like a hitman or some criminal cartel or something like that. He kills some more really, really bad people. He rescues someone. He avenges someone, rides off into the sunset or Milwaukee or Chicago or wherever it is that, he is going to end up. Unfortunately, I had to figure this. I had this one uh, make me. I had to figure. You know what bothered me about this is I don't usually you catch the title somewhere in the book. I must have glanced over it or something, but I didn't see Jack Reacher say "make me" in this book, and I wanted him to say "make me" in this book. Maybe somebody else said it. I just missed it. I don't really know. Unfortunately, I had this one figured out rather quickly. The nefarious character in the background, the shadow who moves all the pieces that Reacher eventually has to take down. He remains rather anonymous, even up to the end of the book. But the substance of what he was protecting was fairly easily discernible. In other words, it was somewhat, even for Reacher standards, predictable. But you know what? I still like the book. I don't read Jack Reacher books because I'm looking for his thoughts on assisted suicide or arms dealing or politics. Couldn't care less if Reacher is rich, poor, black, white, liberal, conservative. When I read a Reacher book, I'm just trying to shut down for a few minutes and see the good guy always, always win. And he does it without remorse, and we cheer him every time because every time he throws somebody out of a helicopter, shoots him in the head, and he never seems to miss or punches them in the brain so hard that they have to walk with a limp for the rest of the book. Reacher is, in a way, he's feel-good literature because we see all those guys who wreck the earth and wreck lives beaten down, never to get up and pollute the earth again. And frankly, I'm fine with that. Don't we all kind of want to live in a world where there's peace and harmony and the bad guys get what's coming to them and they don't get away with crap? Whether they're high people in politics or whether they're low people who are dealing drugs or whatever it is that they're doing. I mean, we complain and whine and moan and complain about crime and violence all the time, and no one ever does anything about it. And then Batman or Spider-Man or Reacher comes along and he turns them upside down, and then we find a way to make the good guy the bad guy. Well, I like Reacher because he is silent when he needs to be silent. How many times have I read in a Reacher novel that Reacher said nothing? He talks when he needs to talk. He travels when he needs to travel. He stays put when he needs to stay put. He punches someone in the mouth after he's given them warnings that they need to walk away, and they insist that they don't need to walk away because they have more people, more guns, or more muscles. And then Reacher punches them in the brain or kicks them in the groin, and that's just all there is to it. They're gone, and we move on. And I think that we look for that kind of hero every now and then. Simply someone who's going about their business and gets things done that need to get done. There's really not that many heroes in the world who simply say what the rest of us are thinking or do what the rest of us are too cowardly to do. Not Reacher, though. He is what he is. He goes where he goes. He lives by a code that not really many of us can handle. And for all those reasons, I'm going to keep on reading Reacher novels until there's no more Reacher novels to read. And I will likely enjoy every single one of them. They're smart. They're similar. They're filled with way, way too much deus ex machina. And at times they're at odds with my sense of politics and morals. But I'm not reading the Bible. I'm reading Reacher, or King David, or Moses, something like that. Subscribe to the blog. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit up my Goodreads. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Subscribe. Do whatever you got to do. Makes a difference. 4 out of 5 on this book. I look forward to seeing you next time when I will finally get around to reviewing The Soul of an Octopus by Cy Montgomery. Take care. Bye.